welcome to the show. So, alright. Our topic today is top 3 most tunable cars. I'll do the honors and go first. So,
should we back up? Actually, sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no worries.
I was thinking about it on the way here, and I was like, what does tunable mean?
Oh, okay, good point. So for me, I feel like, yeah, it is kind of a vague thing to say, but I guess a car that doesn't require a lot of effort or a lot of money invested to make a lot of power. Like a lot of return on your energy, time, and money investment.
Mm. Okay.
So that's what I would consider. What would you think?
I guess that's definitely a perspective for it. You could say what's the most tunable car could be, what's the most accessible.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Accessible too.
In terms of parts, like what has the most aftermarket support, that type of thing. I feel like a lot of different perspectives you could play into that.
That's a good point too. Like accessibility, aftermarket support, like forums, groups, people who know it. That plays a huge part. So I picked 3 cars that I tried to choose some variety, not all the same. You probably guessed what I picked, but ZL1?
That's your most tunable car?
Not the most. It's the least out of my 3.
Okay.
And the reason why is that particular car is like it's already supercharged, it's already a V8. You know, you do a pulley and a tune, the whole bolt-on story, and the thing is a freaking monster. And then you could do E85, meth injection. Cortez Performance did like a 9.06 on a stock blower, stock internals, so that one was probably automatic, but I'm biased. I like that car. And I just felt like for a V8 that's already boosted, I'd probably choose that as my 3 out of the last one out of the 3.
Fair enough.
So
I think that's definitely a good option. I was actually having a hard time deciding just because of, like I said, the different definitions they have around what is the most tunable. But I guess something to compare to that's maybe a little bit more modern. Probably something BMW, one of the new, like the B series engines. The Supra is a great example. I think that's a car you can throw some bolt-ons on it and you'll be making 700-800 wheel easy. I guess kind of similar but different to the ZL1 platform. Comes already boosted.
Yeah, the Supras are pretty badass. Yeah, those I'm kind of jealous because it's like, man, for not much you can have a pretty insane fast car. And it's funny you said the Supra. I picked the M2. I don't know the BMW M2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if those have the same engine or not.
I'm not sure if they're the same, but they're very similar.
Pretty similar?
Because I've seen the same thing. You throw like your heat exchange and then downpipe on that thing with a tune, and you'd be making 700 wheel. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, that's BMW right now, man. They're like
Killing.
So I don't feel like BMW doesn't get enough credit because they make like some of the most phenomenal engines and like one of the most legendary cars known to man ahead of its time, the McLaren F1.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know BMW made that engine.
Yeah.
And they're a pretty serious engine builder, and I don't think they get enough credit for that.
Oh, definitely not. Especially with the new Supra, I think they get discredited.
Yeah. Would you ever consider that car or too small?
I definitely like how it looks, and I understand like people are like, oh, it looks nothing like the Mark IV, but
yeah,
I really like how it looks, and of course the power behind it. But yeah, I don't know if I could.
Yeah, it is a pretty tight squeeze. The looks, I feel like it's kind of funny. It kind of reminds me of the old Supra, where like you see a stock one, and you're like, it's all right, it looks okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you see one that has nice wheels, like a nice wing, and it's got a couple things, and all of a sudden it's like, that's a really cool looking car.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of like the old Supra.
For sure.
But yeah, so M2, I think you sent me a video of one that had a downpipe and a tune, and it did like 700 wheel.
Yeah.
That I still
And
can't.
that was in the beginning stages of that car. Like, think about what it's now, what it's at now.
Can't even fathom that. Like, because remember, like Jason, he had the SC 300, 400, and dude, he was like putting so much work into it. And that is a 2J, and that engine like can do a lot. But even just a freaking downpipe and a tune, like holy crap, cars are getting so fast, so easily these
Well,
days.
there's a lot of cars that I mean, I don't want to name anything just because to get off topic, but there's a lot of cars you literally just tune them and you unlock so much horsepower.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, I told you about that M2 at my work. Like, man, that thing. Like, I've never looked at a BMW like I've looked at like a Corvette, like a nice Vet or like Mustang, and I'm like, damn, I want that car like right now. Like, take my money. But when I saw this black new M2 with like tan interior, not tan, saddle interior, stick, had carbon fiber, I was like, holy crap. That is, and it's funny, people talk smack about how that car looks, and I'm like, have you seen the other stuff BMW's making? Like,
Oh, I know.
like you got this craziness going on over here, and then you have this nice, funky, cool little car that I think looks pretty badass.
It's definitely one of the more subtle cars, especially
Yeah.
the M's that have come out. I remember like the controversy around like the M3 and M4 with that
Yeah.
grill. Like a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah, yeah, and the new 7 Series, oh my gosh, have you seen that?
The big, huge front end.
Dude, so when I first came here, some dude had another BMW that I would rarely take more than 2 looks at. A badass, like satin black M4 lowered with wheels. The thing was badass. Then a couple months later, it's gone, and he has a new 7 Series, and I'm like, what just happened? Like, you had the gorgeous badass BMW, now you have this big chunky funky looking thing, and I'm like, if that didn't have a BMW badge, like, come on, who would buy that? You know
Honestly,
what I mean?
yeah, no.
I'm sure it is an amazing car. It's super comfortable. It's got more crap than my whole house probably has, but the thing looks exceptionally strange.
Not my favorite for sure.
Yeah, so you got the Supra, the BMW M2. What's your number 1 pick?
Number 1?
Yeah.
Or is this number 2?
Oh yeah, sorry. Wait. Oh yeah, what's your number 2 pick? My bad.
Honestly, I was gonna say like the more recent like 5.0s.
Oh,
the Coyotes in
okay.
there.
Oh, you took my pick.
Oh, did I?
Nice,
Is that
yeah.
your number 1?
Yeah, that was my number 1.
Oh, okay. I was like, it's just such a easy car to get a hold of. I mean, you can find one with a little higher miles for not too expensive, and throw in 5 to 10K with some kind of power adder like a turbo or supercharger, and you're making 7, 8, 900 wheel.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I think I sent you that video. That one he put a 3-liter VMP on it.
Oh yeah.
Did I send that to you?
That has the newer. That's the 2014 or sorry 2024.
The 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the comments, someone said at VMP, "There's no way. There's nothing else done. Is it just a blower?" And VMP replied and said, "This is just a blower, just a 3-liter blower." The car went from like 400 and I don't know what they have, 450, 60 horsepower to 810.
Which even that backing up to like what it made without the blower, like 450 wheel on just a stock car with absolutely nothing done to it.
Yeah.
That you can get for 40 grand, 30 something.
Yeah.
Is really not bad.
Yeah, and like back in the day, like early 2000s, 2006 to 2010, I think it was, 11 and 12 and so on. Like when you got a Mustang, it's like, yeah, you got that grunt, you got that power, but you sacrificed a lot because you just had a car. It was like a Crown Vic. The thing is all over the place. People are crashing. Like, remember I told you that kid crashed in my old neighborhood in his Mustang? He clanked the wall.
Yeah.
So people are just crashing all over the place. I mean, they still do somehow. But now, not only is that a powerful car that is tunable, but it's a good all-around car. Like, the car is going to handle very well. It's not, there's no holes in that. There's not going to be any holes in that build. Like,
Oh,
Pretty
for
solid
sure.
chassis,
Mhm.
independent rear end. Now you have a ton of power. Good all around car for
Yeah.
sure.
No, that's definitely why it was one of my top picks.
You think you'd ever get a 5.0?
I thought about it. I keep seeing them popping up, like
Yeah.
on Facebook Marketplace or something, and they have some stuff done to it. Like that would be a kind of fun car. Not too expensive either.
One of my customers, we use Enterprise,
Hmm.
and like Enterprise, they usually sometimes the customer will get like a V6 Challenger or EcoBoost Mustang, but my customer somehow got a 5.0 Mustang from them,
Wow.
and I was like, dang, like this thing is like a kind of a cheaper rental car, but this thing gets up and goes like pretty like badass car, and it's so accessible. Even Enterprise uses it.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna guess that it probably had the 10 speed in it, and even at its base, like you have a core car with
Yeah,
the 5.0 and the 10 speed, you throw some stuff into it.
dude, that 10 speed, holy crap, dude, that is like that transmission's pretty crazy.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, pretty nuts. Damn, man. Yeah, I sometimes I think it would be dope to like the GT350 engine is like very special. It's very unique and it's NA. But I think it would be also cool like having a Bullet or Mach 1 and stuffing that power in there. Be pretty sick.
I think so too. I mean, it's a lot of the newer Mustangs. Yours, the GT500. Um, yours is the Voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
What's and the new one's the Predator, I think. The five
Illuminator?
GT500. Is it Illuminator or Predator?
I could be wrong. I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure they're all based on the 5.0 anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, pretty much 5.0.
Mhm.
Yeah, interesting. Damn.
So, top one.
That's the top 5.0 Mustang.
That's your top.
Yeah, that's my top one.
I think my top one might surprise you a little bit.
What's your top?
My top is this is kind of going around what's like accessible, like budget friendly, can definitely make some power. Probably some kind of Honda Civic.
Honda Civic.
When I was thinking about what is the most tunable car, I was thinking about kind of all those aspects, like can you make power? Are parts accessible? Or you can get budget parts, you can get really expensive parts. Like that is like one of the most well-rounded tunable cars. Like you can especially the newer Civics with a K series in it.
Mm.
I mean, you throw like the same thing, a turbo supercharger, and I mean there's guys making 600 wheel. They're going in like like the tens.
Dang.
And I mean, I think one of the companies notable that I know of is Humble Performance. You can buy like a really inexpensive turbo kit from them, and I mean, you'll be making 600 wheel.
Jeez. The other thing about that is like in difference to a Mustang is now you're in a car that's probably way lighter than a Mustang. So that 600 wheel is probably like 800 wheel in a Mustang.
Yeah, and talk about, like I said, accessibility. You can find any day like a Civic 10 grand, less than 10 grand.
Yeah.
You can find, even if you're not talking about adding power, like all of these modifications to the body and whatnot, there's all sorts of aftermarket support for it.
That's a good point. Like people think kind of my definition which was like, how can I throw a few $1,000s? Well, how much horsepower do I get? But people tend to forget like it is about like how accessible are the parts. Is it arm and a leg to, find like your engine was like $800 or something like that. That is crazy.
Yep.
I mean, dude, $800. You can get a set of tires for $800, let alone a whole engine.
And that's probably not even the best set of tires.
Damn. Yeah, that's nuts. So what's going on with your car?
Well, it's taking a little back seat.
Yeah.
With the house stuff going on.
Yeah.
But it's nearly there. Just have to finish plumbing some of the fuel lines, finish up the wiring, and then get the intercooler piping fabricated.
Nice.
Then I can probably load up the first tune and the base map and then start it up. So it's right there.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, it's like crazy to think about like when we were so young, like souping up cars in Midnight Club and all that crap, and then like seeing you like have the engine swapping the car, and figure out the fueling and the cooling and the mapping and hooking everything up, dude. It's crazy. It's pretty awesome to see you do that, man.
I appreciate it. I definitely didn't ever think I'd be at that point. I always thought I'd be like okay with doing some bolt-ons here and there, like you see on like the Focus and stuff, but I never thought I'd get here.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's crazy, man, because and I feel like we're kind of the similar where we think about something or we look at it, we're like, oh my gosh, like that's an undertaking. I don't think we can do that. But then, like, when you're working on your car, like when we're doing our Excels, like, dang, like we're working on cars. Like, this is, like, if I didn't, like, if I was driving past this dude's house and saw him doing what you're doing or what we were doing with the RX-7, I'd be like, damn, that guy must be like freaking super technician guy, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, here we are. Like, we got our hands in it, and especially you, man, with the Z. That's crazy.
I think, yeah, just break it down into more simple steps and don't get overwhelmed by like the bigger picture. That's all I can say that I did.
That's really good advice, man. Yeah, just kind of like one thing. That's what I noticed you kind of did. You were just like, all right, I'm going to do, you kind of had the suspension set up beginning, and then you got your engine, and there's kind of one thing at a time, fueling and then cooling and then the engine mounts. And the next thing you know, you're 75% done.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like the end result and how to get there without break it down, you'll definitely easily get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I mean, so a lot of people shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it done. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, that would be sick. I mean, I'm anxious to see you in the new house with the Z. It's a dream.
Yeah, almost there.
Hell yeah, man. So, what advice would you give to someone who's trying to do a build like yours or something similar on a Z or Honda motor? What would you say?
Definitely do your research, and definitely meet some good friends who are willing to help you, because I've definitely gotten stuck a few moments, and despite my research, I don't know how much further I could have progressed if I didn't know someone who could have came over and helped me. And then the last piece of advice is just going back to keeping it simple. Like don't overwhelm yourself. Like whatever the project might be, whether it's something that's more custom or something that is like more of a kit that you can buy for a swap. Just break it down into sections, keep it simple so you don't get overwhelmed, and then have fun with it.
Awesome. Yeah. When your car is pretty much done, like, I'm curious, what are you going to try to do, like a little bit of tracking kind of stuff, or maybe a little bit of drift stuff or autocross, or will it just be like a fun car to rip on the streets and like go shows, or what's your vision for like when this car is like, dialed in? What do I want to do with the car?
Probably a little bit of everything. Like
awesome.
I think it'll definitely be capable in terms of learning to drift. It's not going to be like a crazy drift car, but I'm sure it'll do something.
Yeah.
Definitely take it to the track. Like my vision for the whole car was to make it look kind of like a time attack style with like crazy aero.
Yeah.
And then of course just being able to drive it on the street and to like a car show here and there.
That's awesome, man.
I think just how light the car is and how much power I'm anticipating making should be very, very capable on the street.
Yeah, that's what's so cool about that Z platform is like it's a light car. It's a pretty well balanced car, like naturally. Got a great transmission, and I mean, like there's nothing you really couldn't do in that car. It's not like you bought like a Charger Hellcat. You know what I mean? Where you're a little bit limited to one end. Like, yeah, you could totally do anything. Go to all aspects of motorsports on all ends: autocross, tracks, drifts.
Definitely.
I think my favorite thing about what you're doing with that car is there's like flares of things that you're doing that is very, very unique. And it kind of has like almost like an artist sort of flavor to it. Like the whole thing with the spoiler coming out of the rear glass and it being what do you call that? Gooseneck?
I guess a goose or swan neck.
A swan neck, like coming out of the glass. I've never seen that before. um, there's something else that you were going to do with that car that was different. I mean, the way that it's going to mount on that bridge thing is super cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, the engine swap alone is super different. I mean, I think you said only a handful of people have done that. K swap a Z.
Yeah, they're starting to become a little bit more popular now.
Yeah.
I've seen there's a few companies already starting to develop a kit,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess I can say I made it without it. So
Hell yeah. There's one last thing about your car that I thought was different aside from the wing, or something that you had in mind. I think we were talking about the exhaust coming out of that Z emblem on the side.
with like the little flapper
Yeah,
thing.
but I don't know.
With like the little flapper
Yeah,
thing.
but I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I think the most unique thing that 100% I can say I can do is the wing.
Yeah, that's gonna be sick.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Cool. Well, anything else you want to touch up on?
I think that's it for
That's
now
it.
for me.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course.